Hello guys. So in this video, we're gonna do some talking. I see this comment all the time. They need to make faction wars live. We need to be able to fight against other people. Live multiplayer. We need like not AI, live enemies, live multiplayer. I see it every day. People think that Mortal Kombat needs live multiplayer. Well, my opinion is that if they add live multiplayer to MK Mobile, it will be the death of this game. The same day, it's just gonna die. It's just gonna be the worst thing to possibly happen to MK Mobile. Let me explain why. Alright, so first of all, why I think it will not happen. Because the current fighting mechanics, fighting system, just doesn't allow for live multiplayer. Things like combo enders, things like mini games, like special attacks that have like long animations. It just doesn't allow for live multiplayer. Things like block breaker. Guys, block breaker in live multiplayer just will not work because it's just gonna be extremely overpowered. So in order for current fighting system, current gear that we have, current characters, there's so many ways to cheese fights. Let's say spear spam. You catch your opponent in a spear spam and that's it. It's game over for them. And everybody will be playing the same team. Everybody will be playing the same gear because it's just gonna be too OP. There is too many things in this game that will need to change fundamentally in order for live multiplayer to be released. So that's why I don't think it's possible. Now, let's imagine for a second that it was possible to implement live multiplayer. In case you don't know, in order for live multiplayer to work, the game needs servers. Not one server, multiple servers all over the world. Because there is such thing as ping, which can basically create very unfair grounds for fighting, especially real-time fighting games. You need to have servers, at least one server in every, like at least on every continent, at least. And then, like in US, if somebody has 10 ping and somebody has 50 ping, the person with 50 ping is gonna have huge disadvantage. So they need to find servers that are like kinda in the middle between two people that fight together. Or how some games do it, they have multiple servers which only allow people from around a certain area. So like you will not get matched against people in Asia, for example, because if they play on US servers, they're gonna have 100+ ping. If you play on their servers, you're gonna have 100+ pings. And even the servers that are located in the middle between US and Asia, they're still gonna have terrible ping for everybody. So that's why it's very uncommon for the games to match people from different parts of the world. At least in like really active live multiplayer. Games like, let's say, Clash Royale can get away with this probably because it's not really real time. It's literally like the only thing that you do is drop troops. So that's like, it's not like the server has to monitor like lots of inputs. It's very minimal inputs. So they can get away with hyping and it will still be playable. However, stuff like live fighting requires constant connection, and the actions of the players, all the controls they input, get exchanged every millisecond, like multiple times per second, let's say. So it's very vital to have a good connection. Now let's think about the MK Mobile. They have a lot of connection issues. Probably the most comments on Google Play Store, if you go to see right now, are about how bad is connection with servers in MK Mobile. They don't have many servers right now. They don't need many servers. They probably have one. And even without live multiplayer, their servers struggle to maintain connection, and sometimes you need really powerful internet connection to be able to communicate with the server, and sometimes in certain periods of time in certain areas, like, you will get connection problems just because the server is too overloaded, and that's after 90% of people left the game. So, and also they have no, like, they don't have any servers for backups for our accounts. That's why a lot of people get their accounts deleted and never be able to recover them, because the Warner Brothers or NetherRealm, they just don't keep backups of your account so they can restore it from an older backup. So in order to add multiplayer to MK Mobile, they will need to somehow come up with multiple servers all around the world in order to allow people to fight with each other live. Again, let's hypothetically imagine that in some universe, in some multiverse, this is possible and they decide to do it. Let's say we got live multiplayer. I can go to Faction Wars, click fight, and it's actually gonna match me against real person. Now, and let's say we have a fighting system completely revamped, where all the actions are immediate and there's no like waiting and pauses, so we can actually fight against each other. Guys, do you think there is a reason that there is not a single live multiplayer fighting mobile game that was successful? I can give you examples of games that actually never become successful that had live multiplayer. You can say Shadow Fight Arena is kind of still alive and it has live fighting multiplayer, but if you played Shadow Fight Arena and I played Shadow Fight Arena, I can tell you there is a lot of issues. There is the main issue in my opinion is, let's say again, in a perfect world where we found two people fighting each other, they have good ping, they have good connection, which doesn't happen very often, trust me. But let's say we found two perfect people with perfect internet connection, with server working fine, with no input lag, nothing, no problems, and they fight each other. It's nearly impossible to balance the characters, especially in a game like MK Mobile. Like Shadow Fight Arena has maybe like 20 characters. Mortal Kombat Mobile has hundreds of characters, plus hundreds of gear pieces, hundreds of billions of interactions between gears, characters, other characters. My point is, it's gonna be absolute mess. There will be a meta. There will be broken teams that are absolutely impossible to defeat in live. So if you want to be competitive, you will have to use exactly the same teams with exactly the same characters, with exactly the same equipment, because people will very quickly find the broken teams that can dominate live multiplayer. And even if the developers decide to fix it, then they'll find another one, because there is billions of different combinations between characters and gears, which are impossible to predict how they're gonna interact against each other in live multiplayer environment. There is always gonna be people who are gonna camp or who are gonna spam. There is always gonna be a strategy that is gonna be superior. And if you just want to have fun with your favorite character, or if you grinded for years to max out one of your characters, they may not even be competitive in live multiplayer, because somebody will camp with a certain character with a certain gear setup and will be impossible to defeat. This game just has way too many variables, and it's impossible to account for all of them. So I don't see how Mortal Kombat Mobile, with all the characters and gear that it has right now, even if we live in a perfect world with a perfect connection, it's just gonna be impossible to make it really fun and competitive and fair. I just don't see it happening. I'm absolutely against live multiplayer in MK Mobile game. I don't want to face live people in Faction Wars. I want to face AI that I actually can predict the moves of, that doesn't use any sneaky, cheesy strategies to defeat me, that is always possible to prepare against. Like in the tower battles, you know exactly how to fight certain types of battles with your teams. In live multiplayer, you never know what you're gonna face, and you never know what kind of player you're gonna face, so it's literally impossible. And I feel like Mortal Kombat Mobile controls are just so simplistic that skill is not gonna be even a factor. It's gonna be, like, the winning condition is gonna be who finds the cheesiest strategy and who has, maybe higher stats. If there is Blockbreaker in the game, it's just gonna be a mess. You just can use somebody like MK11 Scorpion, catch somebody in an endless combo, and they will never win. Or if they play something like Spear Spam, they will catch. Like, it's just impossible to balance. So if you take all of this into account, requirements for servers all over the world, it's a huge added cost to the game, which will have to come out of our pocket somehow. They will have to find ways to monetize the game even more than it already is. They will have to basically rewrite the game from scratch, changing all the fundamental mechanics. So, is it actually worth it? You might think you want it, you might think you want live multiplayer, but think about it. Imagine actually fighting, like, imagine fighting yourself in faction wars. Would you always use one team because that team is just way too OP? And if you fight like certain teams that everybody fights, like you have to fight either with a team that is broken or with a team that counters the team that is broken. So you will not actually have any choice. You will have to somehow max out certain characters to stay competitive in faction wars. And considering that they're probably not going to change the rewards, you're still going to be getting the same rewards. Imagine just fighting real people. It's just going to become so much more difficult to grind to a certain level. So much more difficult, so much less enjoyable, so much more rage-inducing. So where's the benefit? What's the point of live multiplayer? If, for example, they add like a separate game mode that doesn't gonna change anything else in the game, just a little live multiplayer, and maybe you get like let's say you can bet souls for participating, and if you win, you get the souls that you and your opponent put into the bank. So this way, it's still like they're not adding anything to the economy. People just exchanging souls for winning, which will make sense. Honestly, that would work, but again, all other problems still stand. Now, there is one way, in my opinion, that we can have live multiplayer in MK Mobile. And that's if they create a new game. A new game that is built from the start with live multiplayer in mind. And in my opinion, in a game like Mortal Kombat, live multiplayer is not gonna be like, it's gonna be just a small part of it. Make it like irrelevant. Don't make it like, don't lock the best rewards in the game behind live multiplayer. If you want to make live multiplayer, make it for fun, for people who actually want to compete with other people, who want to experience all the rage and disappointment, but don't make any good rewards locked behind that game mode, because that's gonna ruin people's experience. That's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you want to see live multiplayer in MK Mobile? Would you expect the next Mortal Kombat Mobile game to have live multiplayer? And yeah, just tell me your thoughts. These are my thoughts. I might be wrong. I'm just speaking my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that's my opinion. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you members and patrons for supporting this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.